This month, a magazine called Australian Country has covered my home and studio. How exciting! And it's called In Full Bloom with artist Jacqueline Coates. Now, for those of you who don't live in our country but want to have a look at the article, I thought I'd share. Okay. So basically the magazine visited my home and studio, and I live in a small town of Kapunda, which is just on the edge of the Barossa Valley. It's a beautiful, peaceful country town. I love it because there's loads of birds, beautiful walks, rolling countryside, and lots of beautiful stone buildings. So they've called the story Blooming Creative. With her home, art school and gallery in the village of Kapunda, Jacqueline Coates has developed deep roots in the Barossa Valley. And that's true because I have been here for well over 20 years. I came here with my two children, Hannibal and Lily, two children under the age of 2, as a single mum. And I have a love of these beautiful stone places. And this was a lovely stone home that had already had some renovation done. But I did some more things like doing some murals here. So because I couldn't travel during COVID, I really enjoyed giving my place a bit of a Moroccan twist, which means when I come home, I really feel like I'm home, and I enjoy it a lot. I like a big open space. I like loads of room to put my art. And where I live in Kapunda, it's right opposite my gallery called Salon Rouge. So what have they said here? So you think you like the artist gene. Jacqueline Coates says it's not possible. The Barossa Valley-based art teacher and mentor says she has yet to meet a single person she can't teach how to paint, which is true. In fact, she vows that by using her techniques, she can show even the person who can't draw a straight line how to produce work they would be proud to hang in their home and even potentially make money from selling. Jack is living in Kapunda, a historic copper mining town and one-time HQ for Cattle King Sir Sidney Kidman's vast operation for the past 25 years. During that time, she has restored about 6 buildings in the village, including one of Sydney's stone barns that's now her home and a former mechanics workshop that today is called Salon Rouge, which is her gallery and base for her art classes. By her own reckoning, Jacqueline has had art rumbling through her system for as long as she can remember. She grew up in a carefree environment on Sydney's northern beaches as the youngest of 6 children of 10-pound poms. Her father worked in shipping, so the family moved to Melbourne, where Jack went to school on the Mornington Peninsula and developed a passion for beautiful gardens. Her parents separated, but both continued to encourage her creative sensibilities, fueled in no way by a trip to Paris with her father at the age of 16. So true. Subsequent trips to France introduced Jack to the rose gardens of Parc de Bagatelle and the follies of Parc Monceau, and grand-scale floral studies have informed her work ever since. And here they're showing some pictures of me in the studio, painting a peony, and then a bit of a peek into my gallery there with some of the work that I produce to lead my students in the Make Money from Art program and other online programs where I teach total newbies how to paint. So there we go. There's another picture. This is work that's typical that we do in the Blooms Painting workshop. So even if you've never painted before, you can come and learn how to do this. My Blooms Painting method means that anybody can paint. Here's a little picture of my front door. This is really fun. I decided during COVID, I had cream doors. I wanted a bit more colour in my life. So I went for a beautiful Pacific blue lagoon colour on the doors, inspired by Moroccan interiors and colours that I'd seen, and actually painted some stencils on the door. So I had some help from everybody around me. So basically my friend BJ painted those stencils on. I ordered the stencils, but he's much more accurate than I am, and I absolutely love it. It makes my house feel like a jewel box. So anyway, there's another picture of the work in the studio, and they go on to say, Jacqueline pursued a successful early career as an advertising art director, but the urge to paint kept bubbling to the surface. As a 20-something, she recalls finger painting sunflowers and other floral studies. She finally took the leap and worked freelance to pursue art study at COFA, the University of New South Wales College of Fine Arts, now University of New South Wales Art and Design. Ironically, though, it was work that finally nudged her into life as a full-time artist. I was sent to Adelaide to work on a Westfield ad. She explains, I'd never been to South Australia before, so when I had some spare time, someone suggested I go to the Barossa for the day. I was wandering around Kapunda when I looked in a real estate window and saw a stone barn for sale. I thought, even I can come up with $32,000, and I ended up buying 2 blocks of land. Jacqueline went back to Sydney, had son Hannibal in 1999 and daughter Lily in 2000. Moving back to the Barossa as a single mum while she was on maternity leave and restoring the barn. She's pretty much called Kapunda home ever since. What little spare time came her way was devoted to her passion for paintings. She had an exhibition in a local winery and followed up by displaying her work at a florist, and by 2002, people were asking her to hold workshops to pass on her skills. And thanks to the girls at Viva the Flower Store in Anguston for that, because they were great. They basically set the dates and said, right, you're going to come up with a workshop. So I had to come up with something. Thank you, Tessa. Thank you, Avril. Anyway, this is my living room. Oh, where is it there? On a tidy day. I can't guarantee it will be this tidy if you come around to visit me. I have a large fluffy cat. And my 2 lovely little fox terrier crossed with chihuahuas. They often got a rug on the couch and hold court in my living room. Anyway, there's a kitchen which I gave a bit of a refresh throughout that COVID period. So retiled and just reworked the surface benches. When I moved in, it had a yucky dark green lino, so I fixed that up, painted the chairs to match. So really it was a very inexpensive reno and a lot of fun. And, you know, basically my house is informed by all the paintings that are around it. Okay, they go on to say in the story, my quote, I'd never taught before, but I found I enjoyed it and my students seemed to too, she says. I developed and trademarked the Bloom's painting method, which is a system anyone can apply to get great results. Through the years, Jacqueline's art school has gone global, as well as holding workshops in the Barossa, Sydney, Melbourne, Perth, and Brisbane. She shares her talents and inspiration with aspiring artists in New Zealand, France, and Los Angeles. And that's true. I do travel and I teach in Hamilton. I've got Bloom's Art School, French art school coming up in June in France. I've got a little French art school there with some really gorgeous stone houses. Once again, I love the stone. Cannot get away from it. Love it. So yeah, exciting. Always got something going on over there. In 2016, someone put me in charge of my own super and I thought bombs away. I bought a house in La Forêt du Temple, a commune in the Creuse department of the Nouvelle-Aquitaine region of central France, she recalls. It's a wonderful place with 5 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms and a huge baker's oven in one of the barns. I knew immediately it would be a perfect place to base a French art school. These days, pandemics willing, she runs painting programs and tours in France from Paris, Giverny, the Loire, the Creuse, and the Côte d'Azur during spring, summer, and autumn, and intersperses them with workshops at home and wherever the demand exists. Even during the COVID-related lockdown, she kept busy running online courses, including a year-long painting program, and developed a Making Money from Art course, which has taken complete newbies and turned them into 6-figure income artists. All true, except I did, in fact, create the Make Money from Art program in 2012 and have produced literally hundreds of artists who now make a living from their art. And even if they hadn't painted before, they actually absolutely love this. I see wonderful transformation of people and absolute joy as they connect to their creativity. So that's been very, very satisfying for me. They go on to say, at home, Jack continues buying shells of houses and fixing them up. And when she spoke with Australian Country, she was busy turning yet another property into accommodation for residential students, complete with a productive garden. Well, actually, it was already done, but we were working on the veggie garden. I have 2 lovely stone places to stay at for my students to stay when they come and visit me in the Barossa for Bloom's painting workshops and other programs. And yeah, I am finishing off a renovation of a house which we wanted to sell a while back, but it wasn't the right time, and now we're selling it. So yeah, I'm not really interested in being too busy with houses these days. I am pretty focused on painting. So anyway, they go on to say, a consummate host who cut her catering teeth as a teenager, hosting events for her father's clients. Generosity of spirit is at the core of everything she does. I love entertaining, and we often celebrate with aperitives followed by a beautiful meal, either at home or in a local restaurant, Jacqueline explains. Her home reflects her passions, and she's constantly tweaking rooms and rearranging furniture. I like open spaces and the patina of recycled furniture. It's not as though I'm short of paintings, so I can always swap things around between the gallery and home. I enjoy travelling and teaching, but the Barossa will always be home. I love the rolling hills and the vineyards. I think I've achieved the perfect work-life balance, and I'm happy to be able to help my students develop creativity in their lives. Absolutely true. And if you come to my house, I'll feed you whether you're hungry or not. So, yeah, nice little article, 9 pages, and, you know, lots of fun when you've got a magazine coming to visit you, because you've actually really got to tidy up and get rid of your clutter, and just make sure things are looking at their best. So it's a great chance to refresh and renew. So thank you very much for the opportunity, Australian Country. You can get this at most newsagents. And if you can't, where else can you get it? I found it at the airport in Townsville. I found it in a newsagent in Townsville. And apparently Coles are supposed to have it. If you go to facebook.com/Australian Country, you might find it. And you can probably contact them from there. So it's different to Australian Country Style. Have been featured in that magazine too, but this one is Australian Country. So thank you very much for the opportunity. I do like how this paper feels like it's really recyclable too. Yeah, so lots of fun. I hope you enjoyed that. If you want to read more about how I became an artist, you can head to my book, Make Money from Art, which talks about how I moved to the Barossa Valley with 2 children under 2, and I started making an income from my art and what I did to do that. So, and then, you know, traveling overseas and taking groups to Europe. So apparently it's very inspirational and people really enjoy it. So if you want to read more, I'll pop the link in below.